I'd like just to take this opportunity to thank Premier Wall for the things he does for this province, for our people, and for our party. I don't think anybody can imagine the kind of hectic schedule that keeps him busy all the time. He's our biggest booster, and he's telling the Saskatchewan story throughout the province, outside this province, and around the world. We couldn't be more proud. So thank you, Mr. Premier. I'd also like to thank Tammy Wall, Megan Coulter, and Faith for all of their support. We know this job takes your husband and your father away from you a lot of the time, and we are so grateful for the sacrifices that you have made. So without further ado, it's my pleasure and my honor to introduce Saskatchewan's 14th Premier, the leader of the Saskatchewan Party, Brad Wall.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks very much. Thank you. Thanks very much. Thank you very, very much for that. I appreciate that warm welcome, and I appreciate your thanks to our family. I want to join with our co-chairs in welcoming the guests who have arrived for lunch. That I hope some of you can stay for the rest of the convention. I know some of you cannot, but we're glad to have you here. I'm going to, at the risk of missing some others, I'm going to single out one person in particular and welcome Frank Chu here today. He is the Deputy Chief Engineer for PetroChina, which of course is a division of the China National Petroleum Corporation. Thank you. He has been here for some time and will be staying a little bit longer, working with, we have other very special guests from the University of Regina. That is obviously a national leader in a number of very important areas related to the hydrocarbon industry and how we're going to make that more sustainable. But we're grateful for their work and for Mr. Chu's presence here. He's looking for further opportunities for his company and for Chinese investment and partnership in the province of Saskatchewan, and we're grateful that you're here today. I have a number of other thank yous I want to go through before I get to the body of my text. I want to thank Laura and Kathleen. You and your team, the convention team, have done a fantastic job for putting together the convention. We'll do so again tomorrow, but thank you for all the work you've done and for the weekend so far. Thanks as well to the management committee of the party, to our president Gary, and to the management committee, to the executive council that met yesterday, and to the team at the party office, Lisa, Aaron, Kaylee, and Krista in particular. Not only them, but they have worked very, very, very hard, picking up any loose ends at all for convention, just making sure that everything was done. And so I want to acknowledge them as well as the rest of the team at the party office. To the Sask Party Youth, thanks very much for hosting your convention again in conjunction with ours here yesterday, and congratulations to the new president, who I think the convention met a little bit earlier on. Chrissy, maybe just take maybe we'll get our executive to quickly stand up, and we want to warmly thank the Sask Party Youth for all of their work on behalf of the party. Why don't we get the executive to stand up, please? I owe a huge debt of gratitude, as I do every year and really every day, to the MLAs, who you've all met individually, and you met just now as a group, and we'll have a chance in the accountability session tomorrow to introduce them more formally again. But I was thanked earlier on by my introducer, and it's I who should be thanking others, because I have the best job in the country. I often get to be at all the announcements and get to travel and tell Saskatchewan's amazing story, and take a lot of credit that is actually earned by our cabinet and our caucus and the team that we have of women and men who are serving this province in remarkable ways, and I want to thank them very much. I want to thank the team for that. I want to thank my staff as well, and Executive Council, our political staff, the staff over at the Legislative Assembly. I don't particularly care for very many of them, but I want to thank them anyway. I like them all. They kind of keep me in making sure that I have a perspective on things. I'll tell you, here's a true story. In fact, from the last couple of days, I've been putting together this speech, and my senior staff, and we're all very good friends, they know that I have a hard time. I procrastinate certain things. And Tammy knows I could come up with a myriad of reasons not to vacuum or do certain duties around the house to procrastinate that. It's the same for putting together a speech. They know that I procrastinate. They know I'll do almost anything to not actually start working on a speech. This time I found a title page wizard on Microsoft, and I even made a title page for the speech so that I didn't actually have to start writing the speech. And a true story from this week, they refused to take my calls on Wednesday and Thursday because they knew I really didn't have any business to transact. I was just phoning Reg and Terry and everybody and Ian just to not have to put together the speech. So they actually just don't take my calls for 48 hours. I mean, what if something actually was really important? But they just knew what I was trying to do. But I want to thank them very much for their service, not just to myself, but they make it work for our family. And Everett's obviously top of that list, Everett Hindley. So thank you to them for all the work that they do. And thanks for not taking my calls over the last couple of days. You've already met again and thanked Tammy and Megan and Coulter and Faith. My mom and dad were not introduced, but they're part of this next the group that I wish to thank very publicly, because they are really the only reason I can do the job. And Tammy's over here, and the kids are back there. But I love you guys. Thank you very, very much for what you do. Tammy, in addition to having to put up with a high-maintenance husband, Tammy is a busy woman. She is president of the music festival in Swift Current. I'm a music festival widower. I don't mind telling you that. She works very hard at that, and of course, there's the family duty. She's still doing some business work. She's embarked on a new career, and she is wonderful. If you haven't met Tammy, I get a chance to talk to her. You'll meet a woman who is obviously, I'm kind of biased, but pretty fantastic. Has a great sense of humor. We are enjoying this adventure together. We're enjoying, hopefully gracefully, getting a little bit older together. Just the other night, a couple of months ago, we were watching TV, and they were doing a story on the true origins of the internet, and they traced it all the way back to about 1964, 63, and Tammy clicked off the TV, and she looked at me and said, "Oh no, we're older than the internet." And as you know, the kids keep things in perspective for me as well. The most recent was some help from Faith. I was home with the kids. Tammy was busy, so I was home getting them off to school in the morning, I guess, and Faith was the last one. She was eating her bowl of dino eggs there at the breakfast table, and the newspaper came. And it was late last year, but it was the day that the poll had come out. The newspapers did a poll on politics in the province. It's a pretty good poll. And the paper came, and sure enough, that was the front page story. And, 14-point font headlines about the poll itself, about where we were standing politically, and even some pretty favorable numbers about myself, and a big picture of me, and a good headline there. And so I was feeling actually pretty good about that. And I wandered over to the breakfast table where Faith was eating her dino eggs, and I just took the paper and I threw it on the table in front of her, and I said, "Hey, Faithy, what do you think of that?" She looked up from her bowl and said, "Cool, A Christmas Carol with Jim Carrey's coming out." It's a true story. I do something else every year at this time, or every convention at this time. As you know, what follows this luncheon is a leadership review as a part of our Constitution, and so I never want to take anything for granted. I feel very privileged to have this job, to represent all of you as leader of the party, and the added and very significant honor of being able to represent the province of Saskatchewan, and to work with the team that I can work with, that I've thanked here this afternoon. And so, with respect, I would ask for your support in the leadership reviews. There's some things that I'd still like to do. and I'm interested in continuing on. So